Sometimes in boating, it looks like we know what we're doing, and then all of a sudden you'll see us try and perform a task, and you'll realize we don't. Welcome back, crew, to this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week.
I got divers in the water, number one. Number two, it's 150 yards away. Shit. What are you doing? What?
Kind of like this crew right here, who appears that they were just minding their own business, but again, they didn't really know what they were doing, and they wound up too close to a vessel, and the county sheriff decided they were going to come in and kind of investigate what's going on. Now, I'm not sure why the sheriff's so angry about this situation, but I'm guessing because of the divers in the water, because obviously a boat moving around over divers can create a dangerous situation. The interesting part of this clip is they said they were loading their boat up right here, and all of a sudden here to the right, you're going to see a vessel coming off the dock, which actually makes me think this crew is here for a reason. They were picking somebody or something up off the dock. Here's another one of those great situations where you may think a boater knows what he's doing. I mean, this looks ingenious, right? He's able to get out there to his boat dry, except he's not. The part he didn't understand was he probably should have been sitting in this thing instead of standing. And of course, the boat ramp's always a fun one. It's always got a way of making boaters look like they don't have a clue what they're doing. Even if they back the trailer down okay, there's things that can go wrong in the end. And of course, a situation like this is a great example as well. You see a yacht flying by and you're like, wow, that crew must really know what they're doing. Only to find out later, they're out there throwing massive wake, causing massive damage to vessels. And of course, that's not a good thing, and you are responsible for your wake, so even though it looked like that crew was out there flying around, having a good time, possibly with a captain behind the helm who knew what was going on, that's just not always the case, as can be seen in these images here. And that'll bring us to another good one. Sometimes you'll feel like if you've got a hired captain, they obviously know what they're doing. Maybe you're out there on a nice chartered vessel, or maybe something a little smaller, like a little tourist boat, going on a little tour through the canals. And you think, well, we got a professional captain behind the helm. This guy knows what he's doing. He's got us taken care of. Don't hesitate though, if something feels wrong, just to at least question the captain. Now remember, he's in charge of the vessel, so you don't have the final say, but if you're not comfortable with what's going on, you can always request to get off. Now here in this situation, this crew winds up getting stuck, but again, captain knowing what he's doing and what he's dealing with just tells the crew, hey, we've got to move some weight to the bow of the boat. So everybody moves a little bit further forward and we get to continue along our adventure. Now, if we're going to meet anybody out there on the water that we're going to think we know what this guy's doing, that's going to be those pros, those guys that are out there working on commercial vessels and commercial yachts. When you see these guys out there, you're always going to think, oh, we don't got to worry about them. They got it covered. They know what they're doing. But again, they'll also make those mistakes that'll make you second guess that pretty quickly. Now, the difference between the pros and the amateurs, though, these guys will do kind of like our man did and dive in and try and go after it. Unfortunately, in this situation, he only came back with the engine cowl, so I got a feeling he's probably going to be in a little trouble with the boss at the end of the day. Now, while losing an engine by a pro may seem like a pretty big mistake, trust me, there are plenty bigger mistakes the pros can get out there on the water and make. They can go out there and do a lot more damage than just an engine, but go ahead and drop millions of dollars worth of stuff if they'd like. Now, there are other things to consider out there on the water. So far, we've talked about the people who are out there that you see them doing things that make you think they know what they're doing, and then all of a sudden you realize they don't. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of boneheaded boaters out there in the water who you can immediately tell just don't have a clue. Kind of like this crew right here, probably one of the most dangerous moves on the water, having somebody push you while your engine's running from the stern of the vessel. Whatever you do, guys, don't do this. One hole, somebody falls, and it's all over. And of course, the old bridges. I mean, if they were only identified exactly how tall they were, so some of these people who don't know what they're doing could figure it out pretty easily and not attempt to go through the bridges that are too low for them to get through. But as we already know, some people out there, especially on the water, they're gonna wear their sign. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening out on your waterways, be sure to hit us up on Facebook or Instagram and let us know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Adam Coolidge, Biscayne Bay Pilots, H-Rod Fishing, Murax PT, Micah Naive, Nick Santori, BMoso16, and Shaggy516 did this week. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.